Hello everyone, welcome back to another tutorial sewing by Nikki. So today we are going to work on some wallets, simple wallets, look like this, like almost like billfolds. So you're going to be working with a magnetic clasp today, and it's fairly simple. So I believe in you, you can do this. All right, so choose some patterns. You need an outer and an inner. Pretty pattern, you can have solid middle, doesn't matter. Choose something where the patterns, it doesn't matter what direction you go in, because that's going to be important later on when we do some folding. Okay, so nothing that has a face, nothing that will look upside down, no, you know, when you flip it, just something that doesn't matter what direction the print is in. Okay, you are going to need an outer fabric, an inner fabric to coordinate, of course your thread. You're going to need 2 pieces of interface. This is Pelon 809. Remember, I did a video. If you haven't seen it, you can go back and watch the video. I did a video that teaches you about the different types of interface. So this is Pelon 809. Okay. You're going to need a magnetic clasp. This is the male and female part. And then you have the backings for it. 2 scrap pieces of the Pelon 809. Doesn't need to be a big size, just something small. Okay, and I have my handy dandy chopstick that I love. Okay, so we're gonna need this for poking and turning. All right, so let's get, you need your iron as well. All right, so your fabric pieces should measure 8 inches wide by 18 inches long. Okay, this is a great fat quarter project, guys. Fat quarters are great for this. Okay, so 8 inches wide by 18 inches long. Okay, and if you don't know what I mean by fat quarters, that's a whole nother video, or you can just go in the store and get them for like 99 cents. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do, I am going to get that shiny side of that interface, and I'm going to iron it onto my fabric. Okay. And for right now, it's okay if some pieces are a little bit bigger, meaning the interface in the back. I have a simple iron, guys. I don't know why in the store they sell irons for $99. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you, but you know what? My $30 iron works amazing, and I've had it for like 10 years. So, don't go into the hype of buying the expensive irons. Okay? All right. Oh, so you'll know if it's stuck because you shouldn't see any bubbles on the back. Okay? And it makes it stronger. You can immediately feel that it's going to get stronger. I'm putting that to the side, flipping that over. We want that shiny side of the interface adhering to your fabric. Okay. All right. Checking to see which is my good side and bad side. And you want the interface to go on both sides of the wrong side of your fabric. I know my friend has an iron that she paid like $80 for, and she says that it gets it ironed so much quicker, but I'm okay with waiting 1 minute for my things to iron it. Yeah, I don't have a problem waiting 1 minute. Okay. All right. So the only thing I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to trim this because my pieces, I didn't cut so straight. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. So now what we are going to do, we are going to put these 2 pieces pretty side together. Hold on. All right. Pretty sides together. Okay. Here we are. And what we're going to do is we are going to sew right across this right across the top of it here with about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. So we are putting both sides of the fabric, pretty sides together, and we are connecting them. You know what? Pin your project first. I don't pin, so I forget sometimes to tell you guys to pin. All right. All right. Pin your project. All right. So now let's sew across. Okay. Okay. Well, let's thread. It would have been nice if I would have had that already. Okay. Sorry, guys. I am leaving that in the video. And I don't use my automatic threader. So, here we go. I'm sewing on 3.0. Back stitching. Okay. Remove those pins. I'm just going to move this over to the side. Okay. Now what we're going to do is open that up. Okay. Flatten this down. We want to lift it and fold. So right now you should have your outer and your inner. Outer and your inner. Okay. We're going to top stitch. If you need to, if you feel it's a little bulky, go ahead and, you know, just press it with the iron real quick. It makes it a little bit easier just to go underneath your machine. Let's put a pretty top stitch. Okay, about 1/8 of an inch. Or if you don't know what 1/8 of an inch is, just use that first line on your foot, on your presser foot. That first line, and line your fabric up with that first line there. And back stitch. All right. Okay, so if your interface is sticking out, just go ahead and cut it, just so that you'll know what line you're sewing down when you are actually sewing. Because I like to line up my fabric sometimes with the edge of my presser foot. Okay, so at this point right now, what's going to happen, we have this long piece of fabric. And what's going to happen is eventually this will curl up, this will be rolled up this way. And then what we're going to do is this is going to roll up. So what we want to do is make sure these two are nice and flat. Okay. Bring your bottom up to the top. Leave about maybe 4 inches. Let's see how much room this is. Oh, that's about 3. We can pull it down a little more. So that's about 3 inches. 3 inches, that's good. What this is going to be is, if we're looking at it, this is eventually going to be the top flap part here. Because you see what's going to happen? This we're going to fold up. So you see that? This is what we're doing right now. Okay? So that's what we're measuring. We're just looking to see how far we want this up or down. And once you make it, you can, you know, play with it and decide for yourself. Okay? Because look, it's going to fold like that. Okay? All right. So, all right. So once you have a desired height, like I said, I folded this up until it was at 3 inches. Okay, 3 inches across. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I'm going to press this here with the iron to flatten down the interface. It's going to seem like it's getting thick, but you want that. You want it for the body. Now what I'm going to do is fold it up one more time, and I'm going to hit it with the iron one more time because I want to create a fold here to help me out with something that we're going to do next. Okay, so all I'm doing is creating the fold, which is right here. Okay. Heating with the iron when you're working with the interface helps you out. Okay, so now what we want to do, okay, we want to go to this step right here. We want to put on the magnetic clasps. Okay, you can put on whichever way you want to. You can put, you know, it doesn't matter which side you put it on. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we want to measure down about 1 inch. Okay, from this ledge here, 1 inch. Okay, and so the idea is that it's 8 inches for the wallet. We want the clasp to go right in the middle at the 4 inches. Okay, that's the middle of your wallet. Okay, so right now, I'm just gonna put this here to hold this as an estimate. Okay, but we want to measure down 1 inch. Okay, 1 inch from the top. Oh, look at that, I got it perfect. That's rare. Oh, not even perfect. Okay, so right there. So 1 inch down, okay, and right in the middle. And it doesn't matter if you make the hole here because that's where your clasp is going to go. So I just poked a little hole here. Okay, you won't see it. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this. I'm going to separate my parts here. Okay, and I can see this is my iron line, my fold line. I can see my little poke right there. Okay, see that? All right, let's turn it over. All right, there it is right there. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to grab the back pieces from, grab one of the back pieces that you need for the male and female parts. And in that little dot that we made with the seam ripper, go ahead and put the little circle part right over, put the plate right over that dot. Okay. We're going to mark the outside parts because marking these outside parts lets us know where we need to make the holes. I'll just go ahead and mark the dot even though we can see it. Okay, so this is going to let us know where we need to place this on the other side. Okay, but right now grab your seam ripper. Okay, let's make a hole here. Do it slowly. Poke your seam ripper into your line, the bottom of your line, push down and use that inside part of the seam ripper to create the hole. Okay, all right, and once you got it, go ahead. I'm going to use this part. Okay, turn over your wallet, stick in that clasp, flip it back over, and put the plate on. Okay, rah. Rah, rah. Okay, and that's it. You see that? All right, so now what we're going to do is close this back up. Not close it, but fold it back up. Okay. All right, just fold it back up so to go right back to the wallet. Look at that. What we're going to do is, just because I like to, it's easier on the sewing machine, I'm flattening this out a little bit. And what I'm going to do is now we're going to top stitch so we get a pretty top stitch across the front of the wallet, which is really the bottom. Okay, so we're going to top stitch about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, to close that up. All right. Looking pretty. All right. This is what we have so far, guys. Okay. That's what we have so far. Looking good. All right. So you can see what we did so far. That's what we did. Okay. Now we're going to put the clasp on the top. And what we want to do, okay, we're going to the top. And of course, what we want to do is we want to measure that 4-inch. We want to measure that 4-inch again, 4-inch right in the middle. I don't know if I'm gonna get this right, but 4 inches is right in the middle. And let's see, we want 1 inch from the top. So, did I get it? Ah, almost. All right, so 1 inch right there. Okay. All right, do the same thing. Poke that hole. Okay, we got that hole poke. All right, flip it over. Here's what I'm going to do, what's different on here. What I want to do, I'm poking a hole right in the middle of this interface. Oh, too big. I'll use the extra scrap. Poking a hole right in the middle. What I want to do with this here, because we tend to go like this a lot. We open, we close, we open, we close. I want to put an extra little piece of interface on the back of this snap so that the magnetic clasp doesn't pull away from the fabric. This only takes you a second, but guess what? It's that little extra piece of thing that you do that's quality. Okay. Okay, we're adding that right on top. Okay. Okay. So now let's make sure we have that 4-inch. I mean, yeah, that 4-inch right in the middle. Okay. Oh, perfect. All right. And we're going to do the same thing that we did before. Let's get that other flat piece, that flat plate. I'm putting that dot directly in the middle, marking where the plate needs to sit. Grab your seam ripper. And I'm doing this side. Do not push through far, because if you push through far, making a big hole, what you're going to do is make your clasp very wobbly. And you want to make sure that it sits tight where it doesn't move at all. Okay, if you push through with that seam ripper too much and rip up, you're going to make your clasp jiggly and it's not going to be sturdy. Okay, put your plate on. Don't forget your plate. Get on. Seriously. Okay, there we go. All right, push down. All right, and now we're ready to continue. Okay, so if we turn it around, this is what we have so far. You see that? It's looking good. You see, this is what we have so far. Okay, don't worry, this doesn't look like it's even, but it's not supposed to. And I'll tell you why shortly when we get to that part. Okay, so that's what we have so far. All right, and now what you're going to do, lift that up, separate your outer fabric from your inner fabric, bring it right around to the front. And at this point, we want to put, we still have this part here. Okay, let me do that again. Okay, so we have your inner fabric. This is the bottom of the outer. Okay, lift up the wallet so that you're holding these two pieces, and then you have your inner. Flip it, okay, and line it up. Okay, This is the reason why it didn't look even on the other side when we just folded it down. It's because you have the bulk of these, the bulk of this right here. And so it was taking up a little bit of that, the fabric space. Okay. All right. So pin this. Try to pin it. That's the top. You want to pin it in both spaces. This is probably going to be, you're getting to the hardest part of the project. Oh, I don't have my Wonder Clips here, so I'm just going to pin this. But if you have Wonder Clips, go ahead and clip the bottom of this. Okay. I'm just going to pin it. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do now, okay, we're going to sew from one side all the way across. Be careful here. Your magnetic clasp is right here. Once you get to this part, which I'll show you at the machine, just be careful because you shouldn't touch your magnetic clasp with the foot if you're going 1/4 of an inch, but just so that you know it's there. Okay, so we're sewing all the way down. Once we come around this corner, we're going to stop. We're going to stop around here. We need to leave this portion open. Okay, and then we're going to continue sewing. This is seriously the hardest part of the project, okay? If you're a true beginner, just take your time and heat iron. Well, I'll show you when we get to that. Okay, so let's do this, right? It's going to seem really thick. Take your time. And again, the trick is if you wanted to, you could actually iron it to make it softer and easier to go through your iron. I mean, to go through the sewing machine. It flattens it. It really helps it out. Okay. Ready? Here we go. Remember the back stitch. You're now sewing the bottom of your wallet. Ever so often, I like to backstitch in the middle of the project. At this point right here, I'm at the fold, which is right here. Okay, when it's flipped around. I can feel the bulk here. I want you to backstitch like twice and then continue going. Because it's bulky. All right, now I'm turning. I'm coming up to that magnetic clasp. But again, you see, I know it's right here. It's right here. I can see the bulk. But I have room between my presser foot and that clasp. Coming up to the corner. We want to stop at this point once you go around the corner. So backstitch like 2 or 3 times. Okay. Trust me, you want to backstitch because when you're turning this inside out, it's going to be thick. Okay. We're going to leave 3 finger spaces. We want to start sewing down here almost at the hump here. Okay. Okay. When you put it in, remember you want to back stitch a few times. Continue. And I'm just giving it extra stitching. All right. Okay. So now we have what appears to be a wallet. Okay, take those stitches, take those needles out, those pins. Okay, you're going to clip your corners. Be careful not to clip your stitching line. Okay, this is going to help reduce some of the bulk when you turn it. And trust me, it's going to be bulky. Don't give up. It's going to seem really hard, but I'm telling you, you're going to get a nice, crisp, flat wallet when you're done. Okay. Okay, bulk looks good. Okay, now, every time, grab your chopstick right now. Okay? Every time I'm flipping this, this is probably the hardest part of the project. It's going to be tough, okay? All right, I'm not going to lie to you. Oh, here we go. I'm ironing it again. All right. As soon as I iron it, I like to pull from this furthest, from the corner that's furthest from my hole. And it's because you get the bulk through that contains most of the fabric. I'm sticking my fingers in. Raw. I just put 2 of my fingers in. That's all. All right, here we go. There we go. Trust me, it's this easy because I ironed it. I've done several of these wallets. You want to iron it. My nails are very slow. Broke my nail. Okay, this is the part also where you grab your chopstick. Okay, I'm gonna grab the chopstick, poke out the corners. I'm gonna turn this around. This is that corner piece. Okay, let's do this. We're gonna go into, you're in the inner part right now, poking out the corner. Okay, this is why you want to cut those corners to help reduce the bulk. But now what we're also going to do is we're going to take the chopstick, and in between these, the billfold area, we want to poke out as well. Poke the corners, poke them. Okay. Oh, guys, success, success. Flatten this out. The iron for this particular project is your friend. It makes it look so good. Okay. At this point, you want to iron this because you've just twisted and pulled your fabric. The steam just went there. You've twisted and pulled it and wrinkled it. So you want to iron it out. Okay. Now what we want to do, where's my chopstick? Okay. I'm going to smooth out my edge here. I want to get that corner. Okay. All right. And now what I want to do is I want to close this up. You see this? You see this? We want to close that up. Okay. Okay. So fold it under. We're going to be top stitching around this. I'm finger pressing. I don't like the way that looks right there. So I'm going to use something tiny. All right. There we go. Poke it out. Great. And of course, I'm getting my iron again. Okay. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to top stitch. So you're going to turn it over, and when you're going to top stitch from here, which is pretty much here, this side, okay, we want to top stitch all around the outside of your project, okay? That's what, and eventually what's going to happen is it's going to close up this portion here. So we have this, we're going to have this pretty top stitching. So go ahead, top stitch 1/8 of an inch all the way around, and you're going to stop before the bulky parts. Okay, I like to start on the side that has the hole. Okay, all right, here we go. Remember the back stitch. This is looking really pretty. You want to use that coordinating thread because your stitches will look so good. Don't try to do this on 2.5 because you have thick interface in here, 2 layers of it, and if you use 2.5, okay, I'm back stitching, your needle will be fighting to get through. It will be fighting to get through the thickness. Okay guys, guess what? We have a wallet. Okay, look at that. And my patterns came out a little straight. So that's always tricky when you're choosing a pattern. Just making sure that you go like this a little bit just to twist your magnetic strip and then hit it with the iron. Making sure that your patterns come out straight, you know, when you have a pattern. Look what we just did. See that? Okay, you see that? Look at that. You can put bills in there. You can put cards in there. If you wanted to right now, you can actually sew a line going down, because this is the middle of your wallet. You can sew a line going down on the outside. You'd see the stitching, but that way you can have spaces for cards. But I just like this. I like it just like this. I can put bills in here. Excuse me, dollar bills or something. All right, so that's it for now, guys. So thank you for joining me. So go out and, you know, make some of these cool wallets. You know, customize it, get some fabric that you like, or that someone that you know, someone, if you're making a gift, get something that they like. This is pretty simple. You can do this in 20 minutes. Okay. So if you have any questions or comments, put them down below. I'm really good about checking my messages because I want you guys to feel confident in the projects that you're working on. All right. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, leave it down below or message me. Okay. Thank you for joining. Please subscribe if you haven't done so, and I'll see you back for the next tutorial. That's all.